welcome back to KAMMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
I'm Andy O.
We are KAMMA. We are about to talk about UFC Fight Night, Edmonton, Alberta. And this is going to be a card that's happening in me and Andy O's home country of Canada. The main event, of course, is going to be Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. But we are here to talk about right now the early predictions for the prelims. And we're going to go through the card right now. Who is in the prelims? We got Jack Shore versus Youssef Zalal. Jamie Lynn Horth versus Ivana Petrovic. Chad Anhelinger versus Cody Gibson. Serhii Sadeh versus Garrett Armfield. Alexander Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento. Charles Air Jourdain versus Victor Henry. Ariana Lipski versus Jasmine Jusudavicius. And finally, the main event of the prelims, Ayman Zahabi versus Pedro Munoz. So we're going to kick it off with the first fight of the prelims. We got Jack Shore versus Youssef Zalal. And as usual, my man Andy O will start us off, man. Who you got in this one, bro?
All right. As always, glad to be back with KAMMA. So here, yeah, I think they switched the order of the first fight. Anyhow, so it's Jack Shore against Zalal. I'm kind of surprised this is the first fight here. I'm going to have to go with Youssef Zalal. He's just looked tremendous lately and seems to have found his finishing touch. He's one of those guys that I mentioned this about certain fighters, that when they get kicked out of the UFC, they get their shit together and come back stronger than ever and more determined, and they don't want to get kicked out again. And I think Zalal is one of those guys. He's coming off of 2 finishes now in the UFC, whereas before he lost decisions and he finished everyone outside of the UFC. He's looking better than ever, and I think he's just that much better than Jack Shore by a little bit everywhere. Like, Jack Shore is well-rounded and all that. I don't think lowly of Jack Shore, but I don't think he has enough to deal with Zalal, who's on the rise, who's a little bigger, who's a little taller, and who's a little better everywhere. And I do not think Zalal should be this big of a dog, but I don't think he's losing this fight either. What about you, Real Deal?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm definitely on the side of Youssef Zalal. We're in agreement here, man. For once here, we're going to see Youssef Zalal be the bigger guy in this fight at 5'10". Jack Shore is going to be 2 inches shorter at 5'8". He's going to have a 1-inch reach advantage as well. Jack Shore, man, in his last fight against Joanderson Brito, he got he got the shit kicked out of his shin. Joanderson Brito was kicking the shit out of his leg. Ended up getting a really disgusting cut on his shin. I don't know if you guys remember this fight, but remember the ref was almost the doctor was putting his finger practically through the fucking thing. That's how fucking disgusting the cut on his shin was, and it was a doctor stoppage. Now, if Youssef Zalal comes in here in this fight and starts going after that leg with the leg kicks, I could see him doing some damage with the leg kicks there. Man, Youssef Zalal has been on a tear lately, winning 5 of his last 5 fights against Jarno Aarons, also against Billy Quarantino, where he got the submission. And also he subbed Vadim Zadny Priani in the lower event there, but that was a really nice arm triangle choke. He's got very good arm triangles.
We're only counting what he's done at UFC level, though. And
yeah, but that last fight before he came back into the UFC is worth mentioning, because the guy's very good at arm triangle chokes. He's also good at he's very good at submissions. Period. Last 3 fights in a row were all subs. And I can see him doing some damage to Jack Shore and getting a submission in this one, because he's better at the ground game. His jiu-jitsu has been on point. Jack Shore, more of a striker. Youssef Zalal is more of the grappler here. I see him taking down Jack Shore. Jack Shore got subbed by Ricky Simon with an arm triangle choke. This is the reason why I was talking about the arm triangle choke, because Jack Shore got subbed by Ricky Simon by arm triangle choke. I think it can happen again.
Yeah, and Ricky Simon looks terrible these days. So
yeah, he looked absolutely horrible. Yeah, in his last couple of fights. So yeah, I think that Youssef Zalal gets Jack Shore to the ground, and gets a submission, man. I'm going Yusuf Zalal by submission or decision, but the submission is live. Like I said, the arm triangle choke is good for Yusuf Zalal to get in this one. I just think Jack Shore is slowly looking very bad lately. He got that win against Makwan Amirkhani, but he's not looking so good as of late. So I like Yusuf Zalal in this one to get the win. So we're in agreement with the first fight here in the prelims. Let's move on up to the next fight here. We got Jamie Lynn Horth against Ivana Petrovic. Now, this one here, I was kind of going back and forth here with this one because I am trying to see here if
I know you're trying.
Petrovic can get any grappling going on here. I don't think she's really that great in the grappling. Jamie Lynn Horth is overall good at everything. She can strike, she can wrestle too and grapple. Her last loss against Veronica Hardy was a split decision. That was very close, that one. The only thing that's a bit worrisome is the reach advantage that Ivana Petrovic's going to have in this fight. It's a 4-inch, almost a 5-inch reach advantage, but I don't know if it's going to make a big difference here. I'm going to tell you one thing, man. A lot of Canadians are going to win in this fight, I believe. I'm going to stick with the Canadian Jamie Lynn Horth to get the win here. I think she avoids the takedowns from Petrovic. I don't think Petrovic is that good with the takedowns anyways. I think that Jamie Lynn Horth avoids the takedowns, keep the fight standing. She's a very good striker. She's got some good punches. And also, I think she can get some takedowns of her own in this one. So I got Jamie Lynn Horth winning this one by decision. What about you, Andio?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're really good anywhere, these girls, but I'm gonna have to go with the Canadian Horth. Like, look, if a couple Canadians win their fights this coming pay-per-view, they'll have done better than the last time it was a Canadian card. So I don't know about every Canadian, but I think this is gonna be one of them. And because I think Horth is stronger, I think she does have better striking because Petrovic's striking is really, really awful, especially her distance striking. It's really not something you want to watch for a very long time. And we're not going to have to because I think Petrovic is going to go for more takedowns, but she's not the better grappler. But she's going to go for more than Jamie Lynn Horth, and she's not going to be able to keep her down there once she gets down there. I don't think so. If she gets her down, Horth is going to get back up and beat her up on the feet. And if she takes her down, I think she's going to get more control herself and do more damage when she's on top. So again, the odds are a little too wide for my liking if I were making them, but I'm picking the winner here still with Jamie Lynn Horth by decision. I know they have a lot of finishes between them, both of them. No, actually, do they? No.
Well, in the lower level events, Jamie Lynn Horth did get a submission and a knockout. And also, Petrovic got a submission on Na Liang in her last fight. Yeah, they don't have really that many. There's more subs on the side of Petrovic there. She's pretty decent at her submissions. But again, like you said, I think Jamie Lynn Horth is actually going to be able to fend off some of these takedowns there that Vanna's going to try to do and keep the fight on the feet and land some better strikes.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm just going to play it safe here and just go with decision for Horth.
Yeah, Jamie Lynn Horth by decision sounds good there. I think she fends off Ivana's. Ivana's takedowns aren't the greatest there.
I'll give it to her that she tries, but I don't think she's going to do enough with them, right? So, and the fact that Horth is stronger, I think that's better for the wrestling that happens too.
Yeah, she's a tough girl, Jamie Lynn Horth. She's pretty strong too. I think that she'll be, she won't be easily taken down. So if she fends off the takedowns and keeps it standing, she should get the win here.
Did we mention that Petrovic is actually bigger?
Well, she's an inch taller, but not that much bigger, man.
Yeah, either way, I don't think it's going to help much in this fight. All right.
So we're in agreement with Jamie Lynn Horth. Let's move on up to the next fight here. Chad Helliger versus Cody Gibson. Who you got in this one?
Here I got to go with Cody Gibson because I really think Anne Hellinger has trouble with guys with a height and reach advantage like this over him. I
Yeah.
think I really do. I don't think he handles it too well at all. I think the advantage that Anlinger does bring to the table, we have to mention it, his path to victory is his power. He can find those power shots, but if he doesn't, I don't think he's going to win any other way against Gibson here. Gibson's wrestling is good. He's very hittable himself, Gibson, so he has to be kind of careful early on. And don't forget, Chad Anlinger has been submitted 6 times. So that's kind of a red flag here. And and Langer is another one of these disappointment guys for me. Not that I had high hopes for him to begin with, but I thought he would perform a little better overall in the UFC. As for who he fought here, he didn't ever really beat anyone too good. He beat Charlampos Gregorios, who's like kind of really like not that good overall. He really doesn't have what it takes, I don't think. Then of course Jose Johnson, huge height advantage, reach advantage. He ended up subbing Anliger and Alatangi Lee. He lost to this guy unanimously,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy. So he beat no one of his best win. I'm trying to find it here. Can you? I don't see a best win even.
This one was in the Contender Series against Moeen Gafarov,
Oh,
probably.
he actually has a win against Brady Highstand, but again, that was in 2019.
Yeah, a while back. Yeah.
And Highstand is like, yeah, I think he would definitely beat uh, and Helliger. I can talk. I think he would definitely beat him today if they rematch. So yeah, give me Cody Gibson to pull this off, just based on the fact that it's a really bad matchup for Anne Hellinger, and give me a submission or decision.
Yeah, this is one of the Canadians, unfortunately, that's going to lose in this one here, Chad and Hellinger. Yeah, like you said, man, one of the very good things that you mentioned there was the guy has 6 losses by submission. So he's very susceptible to submissions. And we got a guy like Cody Gibson who actually has very good jiu-jitsu. And out of his wins, he's got 5 wins by submission. So he could do some very good submissions.
So for the betting, sorry for the betting, it's this is what I look at. You know, you got a guy with 6 subs. I believe Cody Gibson has 5 or 6. I put them together and go, well, we're working with 12 subs here. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with those, those 5. Look, his last fight, Cody Gibson won, was against Brian Kellinger, where he actually got him in a submission by arm triangle choke. So I could see him doing that to Chad and Hellinger. Brian Kelleher is a pretty decent fighter, and Cody Gibson was able to sub him. So I think he can get Chad and Hellinger here, especially that he's going to be the bigger guy, Cody Gibson here. I mean, a significant 4-inch height advantage at 5'10" to 5'6", and a significant 7-inch reach advantage. And Cody Gibson likes to fight on the outside. He'll definitely keep the fight at a distance there with his striking. And he'll be able to piece up Chad and Hellinger on the feet and also avoid a lot of the powerful punches from Chad and Hellinger.
He really has to do that, Gibson. I gotta say his losses come from somewhere. And if and Hellinger really catches him with a precise hard shot, could be lights out. But I count on him to really use that size advantage and everything else you mentioned to keep Anne Hellinger away, considering that Anne Hellinger has a big problem with these guys.
Yeah, like I said, just the fact that he's going to be so much bigger is gonna be his advantage in this one there. So yeah, me and you agreeing again on this fight here, Cody Gibson to get the win. I say he wins by submission or decision in this one. All right, let's move on up to the next fight here. It's going to be Sergey Sidey against Garrett Armfield. For this one, I got to go with Sergey Sidey here. Garrett Armfield hasn't been, he hasn't been looking the greatest there. He's okay, but I mean, Sergey too. This is another one here where Sergey's going to be the bigger guy here. A 5-inch height advantage here, man. 2-inch reach advantage. This guy's been fighting some decent opponents here as well. Sergey Sidey. Last fight lost by split decision to Ramon Tavares there. He was making his UFC debut.
He actually beat that Ramon Tavares prior to that.
He beat him in the Contender Series, and then when they fought the fight right after in the UFC, he lost there. But prior to that, he was doing very well in the BFL. And Garrett Armfield just lost recently by submission to Brady Highstand. Not a very good look. He did,
Not too much shame, though. Highstand's good.
yeah, he did beat Brad Katona and Toshiomi Kazama, but lost to David Onama and in his UFC debut. So Garrett Armfield's, he's pretty decent. But Serhiy Sidey, very good striker. This guy's a good grappler as well. Looking at his victories here for Serhiy Sidey, you can see here that he has knockout power, 6 wins by knockout, and 2 submissions, 2 decisions as well. So he's pretty strong. One thing about Sidey, though, he's got to watch out is that his chin is not the greatest, so he's got to make sure he doesn't get clipped here. But if he doesn't get clipped, man, he's pretty strong. I think he's powerful enough to knock out Garrett Armfield. Garrett Armfield, his losses there, 3 of them have been by a submission, and lost it also to a decision there. So I think he gets a win here, Serhiy Sidey, by knockout or maybe a submission even. Who you got here in this one?
Yeah, Sade here, he's if he manages his distance and his reach advantage, which is only two inches, but he can fight long if he wanted to. I think he can win this fight because he has to stay away from Armfield's power, and I think Armfield's better in that boxing range, that in close range. The thing with CD, man, that I worry about is him getting into that range and wanting to fight it out with Armfield there. I think he's going to lose the fight if he does that. I think he gets the win if he actually tries to take down Armfield a little bit of time, like maybe a couple times, even really fake a couple level changes and uses volume because he has more varied striking and he's in exciting fights, man. With Armfield, I don't think he's gonna go. I don't think he's gonna go for the takedown himself either. I think it's gonna be a stand-up fight. So essentially, man, I say Armfield's going to win if it's a pocket battle, but if Sidai uses his speed and uses his variety and he stays away from that pocket and potentially give me a takedown, man. Just try for one takedown, he's going to win
Yeah,
this.
yeah. If you can mix it up with a takedown or two, it would be good.
And he's
He's got
never
power in
going.
his hands, though, Serhiy Sidey. Though he's got power.
Yeah, hey man, I think Armfield has a bit more power, but if you're right and he does, that's great, all the better. And give me Sergey Sidey here by decision. Yeah, I feel stronger towards decision before anything else or a knockout here.
I say a finish here. I think a knockout or sub here. I think he could also maybe club and sub Garrett Armfield. Garrett Armfield's been subbed twice there, like I said.
True.
Lost 3 times by submission, and the last one was to Brady Heist in his last fight. So if Serhiy Sidey can maybe crack him one, get him wobbly, get him on the ground from club and sub there, I think he could sub him maybe. So yeah, I got Serhiy Sidey by finish. Looking good here. We're in agreement again. All right, let's move on up to the next fight here. We got the big boys here: Alexander Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento.
All right. Is it?
Man, Romanov has been looking pretty bad lately, man. The hype was on him coming in, like he was big guy, powerful guy.
And mine and my height, man. I'm sad to say.
He's 6'2". He's going to have a 75-inch reach. But what I like also about his opponent, though, Rodrigo Nascimento, he's going to have the reach advantage, a 5-inch reach advantage for Rodrigo Nascimento. Looked very bad against Jilton Almeida, where Almeida was able to take down Romanov and ended up getting a rear naked choke and subbed him. He also looked bad against Alexander Volkov, who actually knocked him out in that fight. And Marcin Tybura, who I don't really find is the greatest. Tybura managed to win a decision on him there. So he hasn't been looking that good. Also, we're going to have to see how he looks on the scales. Sometimes he comes in looking like a fat slob. If he comes in looking pretty decent, maybe he might be, a threat here. I don't think his wrestling is that great. I think Rodrigo Nascimento can fend it off. I'm going for Uh, Rodrigo Nascimento in this one, man. I like his striking better. I think he's a little bit more polished on the feet. I think he fights a little bit more smarter, a little bit more technical. He lands very good punches. He fights very smart, I find. Like he doesn't make stupid mistakes. Yeah, he did get clipped by Derek Lewis in his last fight, but it's Derek Lewis, man. You know,
He
with
got smushed with a knee to the face, didn't he?
I don't. No, that wasn't him.
That wasn't him.
No. This fight here, Derek Lewis actually got him with an overhand right, and then got him down and then like ground and pound. But
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah,
thinking of somebody else with that flying knee
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I like that Rodrigo Nascimento, he beat Dontel Mays by unanimous decision. He beat Ilir Latifi, who was another kind of wrestler, grappler kind of guy, and he also beat Tanner Boser. I think Rat Nascimento can get the win in this one over Romanov, man. I think that he's going to be the better striker. I think he's going to be he's going to land something pretty solid on Romanov. I think he gets a win by knockout here, or maybe a decision. But I like that Nascimento is very good at fending off takedowns. He's not going to get taken down easily by Romanov. I don't think Romanov's wrestling is going to work in this one. So I'm going with Rodrigo Nascimento to get the win. What about you, Andio?
Yeah, if Romanov's wrestling works right away, it's gonna be that first takedown he goes for, and that's it. Look, this guy's been a big disappointment for me. Just add to the disappointment list. I actually used to back this guy, and I even gave him a break for looking like a slob because I said, you know what, it's his sumo wrestling background, and it transfers well into his style. When he first came up, he just went in on you with these strikes that weren't that good, but its only purpose was to grab you, smash you down, even if you were a lot bigger, and like crush your larynx with his forearm. That's what he used to do to everybody. And then somewhere along the line, like it all fell apart. I've seen this guy gas out in like 30 seconds. I have no
Yeah,
faith, no trust in him anymore. Even if he looks good, that's not an indication that he's going to do well or fight well. Like it's not, and I have no faith in him. This is Nascimento's another guy I don't have much faith in, but he has a real black belt, and I think as soon as Romanov gets tired, he's going to end up subbing him out. Anything that happens to Romanov in this fight is going to be due to exhaustion, I think, and
yeah,
Nascimento's going to capitalize on that. Even if Nascimento wins a decision, which I don't think it's going to get to, like he's going to win it based on Romanov's exhaustion at that point. It just works that way. I don't like this guy. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Give me Nascimento by a submission or stranger things have happened in the heavyweight division lately. So give me submission or decision for Nascimento.
I don't think this fight's going to go the distance, though.
Neither do I, but you've seen how it's been happening
Yeah,
lately. There's been more decision, even with the huge guys, and I think it
yeah,
also has a little to do with the gloves. Like the gloves are
yeah,
more padded or bigger or something like that that's taken away from striking shots. I
yeah.
don't know exactly.
Yeah, I still think Nascimento gets a knockout win here, or maybe a submission. I think Romanov will try to wrestle right away. I think Nascimento will keep a distance. I like that he's going to have that 5 inch reach advantage, man. I think that Nascimento could keep a distance, land some good punches to the body of Romanov, land some straight punches to his head, and we've seen Romanov get clipped and get knocked out, by Volkov. Uh, I think he's chinny, and if Nascimento can land one of those nice solid punches on him, I think he can get a win here. So I think Nascimento is going to be the better striker, just the smarter fighter. I've seen Romanov do some dumb things. He's gonna attack the leg and try to get the takedowns, Romanov, and I think that Nascimento is going to fend it off. Maybe hit him in the head a few times as Romanov's trying to stay down there and grab his leg. Nascimento will be smashing his head from the top, and then end up getting a knockout win or something of that nature. So, all right, man, I like to see that you're going for Rodrigo Nascimento. I know it's not the most popular pick, but I
I
like
can't go
I
for
like it.
Romanov anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah, like he's just been looking bad, Romanov, man. I don't trust him, and I don't trust his gas tank either. All right, let's move on up to the next fight here. We got Charles Air Jourdain versus Victor Henry, man. I
Okay, no,
yeah,
it's mine. It's
yeah,
mine.
you got
So this was the hardest fight for me to pick, I believe, on the whole card, because we got Jourdain. He's very skilled, talented. People like him. He does exciting stuff. With Henry, you got constant pressure. You got a whole shitload of strikes. You got good takedown defense. You got super experience, fought all over the place, and has faced the better competition overall, I would say, if you go like the full career mode. And he may be a little older, but I haven't seen him slow down yet. So you tell me if you've seen any slowdown. I like to call him slowing down when I see the first hints of it. I haven't seen it with this guy. But yet, Jourdain's a very dangerous guy, but I don't think he's been looking that good lately. And I was still torn between who I was going to pick until I found out that Charles Jourdain, for the first time in his career, is moving down a weight division to bantamweight. A guy I felt should be maybe moving up a weight and everything. So the guy's moving down. You don't know what his cardio is going to look like. Some will say he's going to have more power at that weight, but he's never fought at that weight before. And how are you going to generate the power with Henry in your face the whole time, trying to take you down, trying to outstrike you by like 3 times with ease? Gimme Henry in this fight, man. Gimme Henry by decision.
This is going to be a very close fight. It's going to be a pretty entertaining fight. Should be a banger of a fight. It's just the age difference, though. Victor Henry's getting up there in age, man, at 37 years old in the
I haven't
bantam.
seen it.
It's old in the bantamweight. 28 years old for Charles Jourdain. Still like in his prime. Still developing a lot of his
De-
technique.
Desperately going down a weight class because he doesn't know what to do anymore.
I think that he's going to be the bigger guy here at 5'9". Um, I
He
think
is.
that he's going to be, and Charles Jourdain is good at, he's good everywhere. He's good at striking. He can grapple. He has some jiu-jitsu. He's got a black belt in BJJ. He can get some submissions. He's got a very good guillotine, and he's also a very decent striker too. I know that he's coming off a couple of losses there, but it's losses to some decent fighters like John Silva. We've seen how good Gene Silva has been. John
Yeah.
Silva's been fucking, fucking up everybody. And Sean Woodson, very good too. You know, I think that this is a fight that I think that the UFC is giving this guy a decent fight that he could win. I'm not saying it's a layup, but I'm saying it's a fight that he could win. I think he can beat Victor Henry. I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain to get back on track, get back in the winning column here. I don't think he wants to lose his job. He's in Canada. I don't think he wants to lose in his home country. So I'm going to take Charles Jourdain to get the win here by decision. I think it's going to be a very close fight, but if it goes to the cards, I think maybe they'll go for the Canadian in this one. I think Charles Jourdain sneaks a decision win here, but it's going to be close, man. Victor Henry is going to come in there and do his thing. He fights very well as well. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but I think Charles Jourdain can make a comeback here.
I picture it being more like Garbrandt sneaking down to the lighter weight division than getting knocked out in the first 30 seconds and running back up, But it's a shame Henri doesn't have the power like
Yeah, I mean he has no finishing threat though, Victor Henry. That's the thing.
But with him getting like 4 times as significant strikes as Jourdain, I expect like if the fight goes the full distance, I know Jourdain has some sick looking strikes, but I don't see him finishing Henri for the first time Henri would be finished in his career. And based on that volume, I got to give it to Henri and
I,
Henri.
I I think Jourdain, just the size, the fact he's going to be bigger and heavier, and I think he's going to be able to take him. But this is one we are in disagreement with here. I got Charles Jourdain in this one. All right, let's move on up to the next fight here. The ladies again going at it. We got Ariana Lipski versus Jasmine Juseda-Vicious. You guys know I'm high on Jasmine Juseda-Vicious, man. I picked her when nobody picked her, and she won a while back. I got to go again with Jasmine Juseda-Vicious, man. I just think that she's going to be the better fighter in this one. She's the grappler, man. It's a grappler versus striker. Ariana Lipski is the striker. Jasmine's going to take her down. She's going to be the bigger girl. She's going to be a bit stronger than Ariana. Ariana Lipski is actually very, very skinny. Um, she lost to Karen Silva by a unanimous decision. Karen Silva was able to take down Ariana Lipski that whole fight, took her down many times, stayed on top of her. Jasmine can do the exact same thing. And against Fatima Klein in her last fight, Jasmine Juseda-Vicious did very well there with the takedowns. Um, I like Jasmine in this one. I think she's going to keep the fight on the ground. I think she's going to use her wrestling and grappling skills. She's going to land some good punches, some tough punches, hard punches too. I got Jasmine Jasudavicius winning this one by decision.
Yeah, I like the call, man. The only way Jasmine wins this fight is to take her down and hold her down there and ground and pound her out to the best of her ability. If it stays standing, it's over for Judavicius, though. I really feel that her striking is just awful. And if Lipski can stop those takedowns, I don't think it's going to look good. But I don't think that's going to happen because I feel Judavicius is going to be determined to take those opportunities to get those takedowns. I think she's. I think. But I had some notes here. Yeah, she's very hard to finish. Don't forget, Judavicius. So while I felt that, remember, Lipski improved tremendously over time. I don't know if you agree with this,
She
Mia.
did improve. She did improve, but it's just that the takedown defense.
Yeah, and you know that's really it. And just because she improved a whole bunch, I don't think it's enough just to stop a determined Jurevicius who's going to take her down, who's going to beat her down. And if not, man, I hope Judavicius holds her against the fence, gets some good knees, uses her strength advantage. She has to stop Lipski from moving around. And Lipski has a couple subs too, if I'm not mistaken. But really, if she's smart with her positioning, I think that won't really be a factor when it comes to this fight. So yeah, definitely a striker versus grappler. I would try to avoid like just standing there and striking as much as I could with Judavicius because she hasn't looked that great on the feet. That's the only thing. But I'm a fan of hers as well. So I think this Canucks getting the win by decision.
All right, we're in agreement with this one. Only one disagreement so far in the prelims. All right, let's get to the main event of the prelims. We got Ayman Zahabi versus Pedro Munoz. For this one, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I got Ayman Zahabi, man. This guy has been killing it.
Nice.
He beat Javid Basharat in his last fight. The Basharat brothers. I like the way he fought in that last fight. Zahabi was very good on the ground. Was fending takedowns, was getting takedowns of his own, was doing reversals. He was very good striking. He beat Ayori Kilang by knockout, which was pretty impressive. Beat Ricky Tercios by unanimous decision. Beat Draco Rodriguez by knockout. So he's been looking really, really good lately. He's going to be taller, 2 inches taller. He's going to have a 3.5-inch reach advantage. I really think he beats on Pedro Munoz here, who's going to be 2 years older. He's going to be shorter and with a 65-inch reach. So Zahabi can piece him up on the feet, keep it at a distance there. He's looked very bad against the shitty Kyler Phillips. Lost to Kyler Phillips, and we saw how shitty Kyler Phillips was in that last fight.
He's good. He just has the wrong drugs. That's all it was.
And also lost to Marlon Vera by unanimous decision there. The only person he beat was Chris Gutierrez. He's been losing. Dominic Cruz. He's been losing 3 of his last 5 fights.
At the same time, they're all better opposition than Ayman. No.
I agree, but Ayman's still like these guys are not slouches either, man. You know what I mean? Like they're not like really shitty fighters. Ayori Kilang's not shitty. Javid Basharat's not shitty. Neither is Ricky Tercios. But look, Kyler Phillips is shitty, and he lost to him, right?
I disagree, but his gas tank was shit. That's in Phillips still has potential. That's all I'm gonna say.
Anyways, don't even get me started. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Ayman Zahabi to get the win. What about you here, Andio?
Okay, yeah. Who they beat and who they fought aside, the analysis with this fight has got to be that Zahabi is very, very patient. Okay, and so is Munoz. Okay, they're both counter strikers. This has potential to be a very boring fight, but at the same time, you got to appreciate just the game planning that goes into how Zahabi fights. Like, Munoz has fought everybody, right? Like, his career has fought the best of the best. He rarely beats the best of the best, but he's fought them all. He has a ton of experience, also has a lot of damage. The thing with Zahabi, he's not going to, but the thing with Munoz, he's not going to take it down there unless he has to. And I think it's the same thing for Zahabi. So I'm expecting a stand-up battle. And I found out a couple of very interesting stats that I have to bring up here. Zahabi gets hit once every 40 seconds on average in his fights. So we're talking a very, very, very low amount that you actually make contact with this guy. Okay. And his defense is just great as it is. The thing with him, he looks for the perfect opportunity, right? And I agree that Munoz, man, he always shows up. He's always very tough. But winning against an up and coming an up and coming guy, I think it has to stop somewhere for Munoz, and I think Zahabi's the guy to do it. I think he's going to be very well coached. I gotta say this, giving a nod out to Farid Zahabi, who's actually Ayman's brother, and he's going to be coaching him, of course, in this fight from the TriStar Gym in Montreal. So yeah, give me an Ayman Zahabi. I hope it's going to be a little more exciting of a fight for most fans than it probably will be. But I have to take Zahabi in this one.
All right, there you have it, folks, man. Our early predictions for the prelims, man. Zahabi from our hometown, Montreal, Quebec. We got to go with Zahabi. Let's get it. Stay tuned for our next video for the main early predictions.
Also, I think you forgot, bro, about the algorithm.
Yo, please leave a comment, guys, for the algorithm. You know how it works. Let's get it. Peace out, folks. KAMMA.